I noticed that when you were talking about your aesthetic inspirations, you mentioned Batman Beyond, Blade Runner. What I was noticing is that there's a common theme where most of those future type stories are based on corporate overlords. So I'm guessing that's going to be something that would be probably another feature of your story.
Yeah, a war, kind of like warring against tyrannical corporations and whatnot. It's not really something I've intended, but like a lot of my stories end up having elements of like tyrannical corporations that overstep their bounds. It just seems like more as time goes on, those themes become more and more pertinent and relevant. A lot of my early comic books were originally created like 10, 15 years ago, but they're more relevant now than even then.
So 10, 15 years ago. So you've been doing this for a while then.
Yes and no. I was kind of like, I first created Touring Samurai in like my senior year of high school. Then it kind of sat on a shelf. I was a part of a company up in Flint for about 10 years. I got the first version of Project Access out in about 2018-ish. And then 2019, I left that company, started my own. I've kind of been really pushing since then.
Okay, well, if your samurai who's living in the future doesn't have a job yet, he should open a tea house and call it Samurai Chai.
Thanks, man.
Take it easy, kid.
For the audio podcast listeners, a one finger salute was offered towards that idea.
No, if my samurai is going to open a tea shop, it's going to be called Leaves from the Vine and nothing else.
I mean,
if you're an Avatar fan, you get the reference.
I was about to say, badass characters can open tea shops. Uncle Iroh, totally.
The Dragon of the West.
Yeah, so
that's right.
A beloved character.
I just hope no one sings the song because I'm probably going to cry.
With time traveling aspects to it, I mean, I'm guessing, did you ever also watch Samurai Jack? Because I'm guessing you get that a lot.
Yeah, I get it like all the time, and I've like seen clips of it, but what's actually really kind of fucking sucks is everyone tells me Samurai Jack, and now I feel like I can't watch it because if I do, I feel like I might get ideas and I just rip it off. So now, thanks everybody. Now I can't watch Samurai Jack because then I might ruin my comic book. You guys are awesome. I love you.
This brings up another question that I think is interesting from a creator standpoint. How much is it where you have fun with influences versus risking people thinking you're outright lifting ideas?
Well, I kind of take it in like tiers where it's like names, kind of places are fine, but like you got to be really careful when you start getting into like moments. There's kind of a very thin line between like influence and inspired by and just straight out ripping off. So it's
similar with if you're writing something dramatic versus a parody. It becomes a very fine line.
Unless you're Mel Brooks, in that case, the line just doesn't exist.
Mel Brooks can do whatever he wants.
I mean,
yes, he is Mel Brooks.
I believe that. But I do think Dracula Dead and Loving It was maybe not the best work.
It was his last film, which kind of.
Oh no, wait! I'm sorry, he's not Nazi. I did it again. I mixed him up with Mel Gibson.
You mixed up Mel Brooks and Mel Gibson?
I mixed up Mel's.
Fuck that's you, actually that's pretty
heresy.
Like it's my job to not know what's going on, so I can ask all the questions. Like I depend on you guys.
I remember when Mel Brooks was in Lethal Weapon 4 fighting, no, this is terrible.
You remember when he did Passion of the Christ? Yeah, I know.
Mel Brooks is a great example of using inspiration. You're clearly lifting from other work, but you're making your own. Spaceballs is a parody of Star Wars and a whole bunch of other big budget kind of movies.